Hi everybody, this is Dana. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we are moving forward with the farmhouse journals, and I am ready to sew the signatures in. And I have already done that with the one signature journal, and here's how that turned out and looks. Really cute. So I've got the signature all sewn in. And what I did before I sewed the signature in was I put lace on the edges of some of my pages. I put some paper ruffles. These I made in another I didn't do a video on it, but I followed a tutorial. They're really cute. There's a third one I did here. Then I put some lace on the edges of the pages. That's just easier to do while the book is together. So now we have it all sewn together and it's ready to be decorated. Now for the two signature journal that we're doing with the hardback cover, I remember I had decided I didn't want to put the stitching for the signatures on the spine because the spine looks so nice the way it is. So today's tutorial is going to be a hidden spine, okay? So that way we can leave our the way our signature looks on the outside intact, just like that. So what we're going to do is put this aside for right now, and let me show you what I've done. So what I have here is I cut a piece of just cereal box, and this, our spine, is 1 3/4. Okay. Now what I cut the cereal box to is 1/8 shorter. Okay. So if you go to 1 3/4 inch on your cutter and then back up 1/8 of an inch, because what's going to happen is this, we're going to sew our signatures to this and then glue it down into the spine. And if you make this the exact width of the spine, it is not going to fold right. It's going to obstruct your score lines and it's not going to fold. So make this about 1/8 of an inch shorter than what your spine measurement is. So whatever your spine measurement is, this one happens to be 1 3/4. Make your cereal box 1/8 of an inch shorter. And then the length is just the length of most of my papers in my signature, which is 8.5. Now what I've done is I have used tacky glue, and this is already dry. I got this ribbon at Walmart on clearance, and I just love it. It looks like ticking, and I love it. And it is wire edge, but I took the wire out, and I like this because I'm using this because it covers this perfectly. It covers up not only the spine, but overlaps the paper by just a bit. Now I cut this to the length of 8 3/4, which is the size of my inside paper right here that covers the inside. So this is 8 3/4 long. And then I used tacky glue on the cardboard side, not the glossy side, but the cardboard side of my cereal box, and I glued it to the ribbon. Okay. The reason I did that is because you can kind of see through it. So when I put this part on the side, you could kind of see through it to the Wheaties box, and I didn't want that. So I just used the other side, and we'll glue this down to here. All right. Now, once you've prepared that, what we're going to do is make our template to poke our holes. What I've done is I've cut a piece of cardstock to the size of the cereal box. So we have 1/8 of an inch shy of 1 3/4 wide by 8.5 tall. Okay, that's the exact size. I have folded it in half vertically and horizontally, so I know where my middle is. Okay, now I've got two signatures that I'm sewing in. So what I'm going to do is take a pencil and a ruler, and I'm using a grid ruler. And I'll just use a pen. And what I want to do is I want to center my 3 holes. I'm going to use a pamphlet stitch, so I need 3 holes. And I want to center my signatures between, like, here's our halfway mark right here. Let me just trace it so you can see it. Here's our halfway mark. So what I want to do is center my signatures between these areas. So my first, these are how wide? This is about it's about 3/4 of an inch. This side, I'm not quite even. This side's 3/4 of an inch. This side is just over. So I'm not going to worry about that, okay? So half of 3/4 of an inch is, there's not really a measurement for it. So what I'm going to do is eyeball it. And I'm going to start with my middle right here. Let me draw a line so you can see it. Okay, so here's our middle where I had folded it. So I'm just going to eyeball the middle of this. And I'm going to make a dot on both sides. That's going to be my middle hole, okay? And it's okay to eyeball it. It's not a big deal. And then I'm going to come in about 1/2 inch. Let me make sure I'm in frame. Yep. I'm going to come in about 1/2 inch. So I'm making sure with my grid ruler that I'm straight from this dot. And I'm going to come in about 1/2 inch right here. There it is right there. Make that dot. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Right where my dot is. I'm going to turn it around. So here's where my dot is. And I'm going to come in about 1/2 inch up at the top. So here's where that dot's going to be. I'm going to do the same thing down here. I'm going to come in about 1/2 inch right here. And same thing over here, right here. Okay, so that's where my holes are going to go. So I'm going to take my pokey tool and I'm going to poke the holes where I've marked them. Right like this. Just going right through my marks. And then I'm going to take a marker. I've got a black marker here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this over my template, my cereal box right here. And I'm going to make a mark inside each of those holes where I need to poke the holes on the spine. Okay, I can see all my holes. Now I'm going to take my pokey tool and a mouse pad, and I'm just going to poke my holes right through. My mouse pad allows me to kind of get it started. Okay. And And there is that layer of tacky glue. That's why it's a little bit hard to get through it, but you can do it. All right. Now that our holes are poked, we are ready. This is ready. Now what I'm gonna do is grab 4 binder clips, which are over here. And I have this other template, I use this all the time. This is basically just a template that is, I don't even know how wide it is. It doesn't really matter. It matters that it's 8.5 inches tall, okay? And what I'm gonna do, actually, shoot, I might have done this wrong. I did, but that's okay. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna line up my middle. I'm gonna fix this. I should have kind of used this as a guide. I'm gonna line up my middle holes here like this. And I'm gonna punch them. Sorry about that. I should have used this as a guide, but I didn't. So my holes in my other template weren't in the right place, but now they are. Because I need this kind of folded in half like this so that I can get my signature ready to be sewed. So what first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through my signature and I'm gonna make sure all my papers are where I want them. Okay, that looks good. These look good. Because I do have some that are kind of offset in different sizes. Okay, like here. Okay. Those all look good. My envelope looks good. Okay, we're good to go here. All right, so what I'm gonna do is find the middle of my signature and I'm keeping my papers even and I'm kind of pressing them into each other so that my spine, that all my papers are kind of meeting down here in the crease, and that one's not, so I'm gonna take it off and fix it. There we go, that's better. And it's still not. Goodness. It's been one of those days. I've had so many mess ups today on the things that I'm working on. It's driving me nuts. You guys ever have days like that? Ugh, I hate days like that. Okay, that's better. Okay, so I'm kind of pressing down with my spine, making sure that my spine is all kind of gathered in as far and pretty tight as I can get it. Okay, I'm gonna take my template and lay it down here in the middle. And I'm gonna punch my holes through all the layers. Okay, there's the middle. And I'm using this new hole toward the top that that matched my template that I used for my spine, not my original hole in this template. All right. Okay, so we'll put this down till we're ready with the next one. This is signature number 1 for me. Now, what I'm gonna do is I've got just embroidery floss here. Let me grab my needle. And I'm going to thread the embroidery, all 6 layers of my embroidery floss into my needle here. Now, instead of sewing it into our book, we're going to sew it onto this spine. And this is the first signature, so I'm using this left-hand set of holes. And you've seen me do this before. Just go down through the middle and through the middle on my hidden spine here. I'm going to go up through this side, through the signature, pull my tail, don't want to lose our tail, then I'm going all the way up to the top, through the top hole of this hidden spine, then I'm going to go back down through the middle. Make sure I still have my tail, which I do. Now up through the middle. All right. Now I want both my strings to be on different sides of this middle string here, because we're going to use that to tie off on. So I'm going to unthread my needle, and I'm going to pull as tight as I can without breaking my threads. I'm nice and tight on that hidden spine there. And then I'm just going to tie a knot. Tightening again. See, I broke my thread. Darn it. I pulled too tight. Shoot. Okay, so what I'm going to do is loosen my thread a little since I have some leeway here. And I'm going to pull and get another length of thread here. Whew, that's never happened to me before. Okay, another reason why you should always cut more thread than you need. Okay, so I'm going to tie my knot a little more gently this time. All right. I'm going to tie it a third time, just for good measure here. All right. So now I can take off my binder clips, and that's our first signature sewn onto our hidden spine. Okay? So now we're going to do the same thing with the second signature. And where's my, there it is. Just before we get going, since I have it right here, I'm going to go ahead and thread my needle with my other length of thread. Okay. Oh, and it's not doing, oh my gosh, here we go again, guys. It's one of those days, one of those days. Usually days like this, I get out of my craft room and I go do something else. Okay, let me make sure that my papers are all where I want them. Those look good. These need to move over just a little. Okay, my envelope looks good. Okay, we're gonna go there. Let's find the middle and kind of push everything together and clip it. Missing a clip, there we go. These don't look completely straight. Looks like that shifted. Move this over. There we go. There we go. All right. Sorry about that, guys. This is kind of one of those videos that feels like it's kind of, I don't know, unorganized maybe. Just I feel all over the place. Okay. So now I'm going to take my template and my pokey tool and poke my holes right where they should be. There we go. That's one. Two. And three. All right. Ready to sew this last signature in here. Okay, so we're going to grab, make sure we're the right way up here. Signature's the right way up, and then I'm going to turn it around because it's going to be easier to work with it like this. Okay, going through the center and through the center of the hidden spine. Move this up here. Then going through the top, find my hole. Okay, all the way across to the hole on the other end. And then through that top hole of the hidden spine. Okay, and then back down through the middle. Of both things. There we go. I'm going to pull my thread. My thread needs to be one length on one side of the thread and one on the other so that we can tie off. So we're going to tighten and we're going to be careful. We're going to tighten and then we're going to tie our knot, pulling everything tight, but not so tight that we break our thread. And I'm going to tie off 3 times. There we go. Clip off those threads, take our clips off, and now we have our signatures attached to our hidden spine. Okay? Really pretty. Looks so good. And then we have this nice kind of ticking ribbon in the middle of our signatures. So now what we're going to do is bring in our cover, making sure that our signatures are right side up. And they are. All I'm going to do is I'm going to cover just the chipboard with tacky glue, and I'm not going to be shy about it. Okay, we're going to put a nice amount on there, and with my sponge brush I'm just going to spread it out. If some gets on the ribbon, it's not a big deal because that's going to be glued down in the next step, which I'll probably do off camera because I've got to wait for this to dry. Okay, good amount of glue there. Don't be shy about it because we don't want it to go anywhere. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, making sure our cover and our signatures are right side up, and I'm going to center that cereal box in the middle of the spine. And I know that I cut my ribbon to the same size as my inner covers right here, so I know how to line it up. And then I want to bend my spine to make sure that I'm not obstructing, and I'm not, so I'm in the right place. And I'm just going to press and let these fall open. I'm going to press down in the middle. We want good contact. I'm going to open my signature up this way, and I'm going to press down on this side. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Oh, and it's shifting around a little, so I'm going to make sure I've got it in the right place again. I don't, so I'm going to move it. Make sure that I'm where I need to be. Pressing that down. Okay. All right. Now I can see that I've got good contact everywhere. So what I'm going to do is leave this, okay? I'm going to put something heavy on it, like a book or something. And then I'm just going to leave it just like it is. Maybe I could use a clip. There we go. There we go. Now I'm just gonna leave this. And when I come back and it's dry, I'll take those sides of the ribbon and I'll glue them down. And that's our hidden spine. It's really easy. It's not complicated. It's just fiddly. So please, if you have any questions, ask them down below. And I know that it kind of seemed like I was a little all over the place. So if I missed something or you're confused about something, please ask me below. But see, now we have our spine, we have our signatures in, but our nice stitched quilted spine looks really nice on the outside. So in our next video for our farmhouse journal, we're going to start adding pockets and ephemera and things like that. So we'll get moving on finishing these journals. So if you have any questions, again, comment below. And as always, have a great day and God bless.